Will you make this life-or-death mistake when cold-blooded killers attack? The clock flashes 2:21 a.m. You jolt awake to the sound of a gun going off. Beside you, your wife screams in agony as blood pours down her face. Your heart races in your chest. You panic at the realization that you're not alone. Desperate thugs have forced their way into your home to steal, rape, and kill. What you do in the next 5 seconds will determine if you and your family survive or die. This is no joke. So pay close attention and listen to every word of this 6-minute presentation and take notes, because you absolutely need to know this before it's too late. Because this short, eye-opening video reveals how to survive any violence and life-threatening attack, as well as uncovers the shocking lies taught by some of the most respected self-defense teachers, and teaches you how to protect your loved ones from multiple out-of-control assailants. So stay with me until the end, do exactly what's shown, and you will join thousands of confident and fearless Americans who can now win a fight in a couple of seconds, perform rapid gun disarmament, and go toe-to-toe against multiple home invaders without getting hit. I know this might sound unbelievable, but I guarantee, if you keep watching, you will go from rookie fighter to advanced expert in the shortest time humanly possible, being able to inflict unbearable pain against trained fighters, and even put an end to out-of-control mobs with a few blows. You'll have the most practical, simple, and highest level of training to safeguard your family against brutal violence. No matter how old, outskilled, outnumbered, or out of shape you are, and even if you suck at fighting, have zero time to train, hate martial arts, and are scared out of your mind at the very thought of a confrontation, then you absolutely need to keep watching this to the end, as I will pull back the curtain and show you how easy, quick, and deadly this can be even in the hands of a complete amateur. In fact, this is so effective that even a 71-year-old pensioner, crippled with arthritis, can deliver within seconds an untold amount of pure animal viciousness that can overwhelm any number of attackers, armed or unarmed, as this isn't about how strong you are or how skilled you think you are at martial arts. The fact is, my research has proven that those who've studied martial arts are actually at a disadvantage because they've been spoon-fed dangerous lies and instructions that for the most part simply don't work in the real world. Trust me, even though you think you've heard and seen it all, there is nothing else like this available. But first, you must be wondering, who am I and why should you trust me? Good question. I'm Bruce Perry. I'm a security contractor and veteran martial artist trainer from the Bronx, New York. You've likely never heard of me before, and that's because, for the past 22 years, I've been training the most elite men and women behind the scenes, air marshals and bodyguards, through to those with deep combat military backgrounds and operatives whose jobs are to protect the who's who in the world of government and entertainment. These are the type of guys who love to fight and are paid to know how to protect themselves and clients in a fraction of a second without causing a scene. These are also the best trained professionals in the world, men who must know how to win a fight against trained killers, political assailants, and the mentally unstable, and against predators who can strike at any moment from any angle and with any weapon. They're the guys that come to me because, among all the teachers of high-level lethal combat out there, I'm the only one who teaches real-world self-preservation combat, the kind of effective training that most elite bodyguards, soldiers, cops, and security agents use in order to win a fight in a couple of seconds without getting touched and without getting hurt. It's fast, simple, and extremely deadly against one or more opponents, even if they appear bigger, meaner, and stronger. That's because there are no complex moves, no memorization nonsense, and no stiff training exercises. And in a matter of minutes from now, I'm going to reveal to you how you can use it to your advantage. But first, you should know why I feel it's important that I get this elite training into the hands of every American who's scared of being attacked and wants to protect themselves and family against violent criminals who wouldn't think twice about maiming or killing you. You see, long before I developed my unique self-defense system and taught it to countless bodyguards, air marshals, and military agencies, at a time when I had what most would have considered some of the best martial arts training around, I found myself in an extremely vulnerable situation. A situation that by all accounts I should have been prepared for, but instead, it blindsided me and sucker-punched my ego and brought into question everything I'd been taught about self-defense. It literally tore away the false sense of security that I thought I had from installing a security system on a home, being a firearms owner, and having a background in martial arts. And yet, this terrifying and dangerous experience changed my life forever. So keep listening, as it's critical that you know this. Before March 27th, Our quiet gated neighborhood had never once suffered from home invasions. In fact, I assumed that my family home was the safest in the neighborhood, as I'd taught my wife to use a firearm. We'd installed expensive, state-of-the-art home security, and with years of martial arts training, I figured I was more prepared for the unexpected than anyone else. I couldn't have been more wrong. On that night, I witnessed how foolish I'd been to think that any of that could protect my wife and 3 teenage girls from multiple home invaders who were armed. At exactly 2:21, I was jolted awake to the sound of a gun going off. Looking back on it now, I should have heard my wife getting out of bed before that, but I'm a deep sleeper. The next thing I knew, I turned to see blood pouring down my wife's face and 2 masked men hunched over us, yelling orders. What I later learned was that my wife had awakened to a noise and grabbed our firearm beside the bed, just as I trained her to do, and she fired it when they burst in. Like anyone trembling and fearing for their life, she became paralyzed and got pistol whipped. Barely comprehending the chaos that was taking place all around me, I felt completely helpless, even with all my years of martial arts training. Now, you have to understand physically, mentally, and emotionally what was going on here, as so many people think they know how they would react in a surprise situation. Trust me, even if you have martial arts experience, your mind goes blank. I was literally in a complete state of panic. I couldn't even begin to fathom how they got past the security. No alarm went off. Fact is, at the time, I wasn't aware that even the most expensive home security systems have flaws, and that any thief with a bit of sense can find them routing around the search engines. Everything in my mind was screaming, this shouldn't have happened. But with the smell of gunpowder in the air, a gun pointing at me, and 2 huge intruders bellowing demands, all my questions went by the wayside. It was too late. I'd made a foolish mistake of thinking I was prepared, and I couldn't undo it. My life and the life of my family were depending on me to protect them, and I had no clue what to do. After they dragged our 3 daughters into the rooms and bound our mouths, ankles, and wrists, they began ransacking the house. Our only saving grace that night was the stupidity of the thugs who broke in. Unknown to me, they'd already been to 2 other houses in our neighborhood that night, and one of our neighbors had managed to escape their restraints and call the police. Trembling, sweating, and with my heart racing a mile a minute, I can't begin to tell you how relieved I was to hear the sound of sirens, as that's when the men bolted. But the nightmare wasn't over. Beside the physical pain we had endured from being pistol whipped, the emotional wounds had created far more damage. I was humiliated in front of my family, and each of us had our confidence torn apart. For months after that incident, my children suffered with terrifying nightmares that led to therapy, and my wife blamed me for everything and anything. Daily arguments were filled with what-ifs and how could you, and you said, and the humiliating truth was, she was right. I'd said that the security system was foolproof. I was the one who promised that knowing how to fire a gun would stop anyone, and I'd also said that being trained in martial arts would definitely protect them from intruders. I was wrong. All my promises fell flat after that night, and the anguish didn't stop there. Even after moving to a new neighborhood where crime was meant to be lower, it did little to alleviate the fear that my family felt. Even though our home is now within 10 minutes from the local police department, what we didn't know is that from the time our neighbor had called the police to the time they arrived on the scene, it had been almost 25 minutes. If it wasn't enough that our family and 2 other families had been traumatized, they added insult to injury by speaking down to us because of the neighborhood we lived in, and acted as if it was nothing more than a common burglary gone wrong. Can you imagine that? We lived in a gated community. How could you get any safer? They took our names, got us looked at by a medic, and put us in contact with victim support, and then they were on their way. Just another day on the job for them, but for us, it was just the beginning. And as for the security company, all our complaints fell on deaf ears. It seems there's fine print for a reason. And when we signed up for the service, it stated that their system cannot guarantee safety. And in the event that something goes wrong, lo and behold, they aren't to be held responsible. I was furious at them, but even more furious at myself for trusting others with my family's safety. For months I chewed over what I could have done, I should have done, or would have done differently. My wife did everything I taught her. She grabbed our 9mm, but against multiple attackers in the pitch dark and pumped with adrenaline, she had little chance. All the gun offered was a false sense of security. As for me, I was almost physically sick when first confronted by just how naive and unprepared I was. By all accounts, I should have known what to do. I mean, I had over 14 years of martial arts training, but this was again just a false sense of security. What I realized fast is that unless you train for the unexpected, unless you train during your own adrenaline dump, you're going to freeze and panic in a real fight. Truth is, While I was angry at myself, I was really angry that none of the training I'd received had worked to protect my family. And that's because most martial arts trainers don't train you on how to react in the really terrifying moments. And so you end up experiencing that dreaded deer-in-the-headlights panic and suffer for it. Both physically and emotionally, I was distraught over the fact that I'd failed. I felt humiliated and embarrassed that I'd failed to protect my family. And it was at that exact moment I made a decision to do something about it, to ensure my family never again suffered through anything like that. Determined to find an answer, I returned to my work as a security consultant and focused all my time and attention on the flaws and overlooked loopholes that allowed violent criminals to get the upper hand and win in any situation. I looked at the areas that martial arts don't prepare you for, the areas that security systems can't protect you from, as I was sure this was the key. And here's what I discovered. There's only a few things that really work in any protection system. So I asked myself if it was the same with self-defense. If a criminal could get past a system that was designed to protect your home, the same could be said for a fighting system that was designed to protect your body or your family. Thinking about this, I thought back to all the things that we didn't expect that night. Panic, adrenaline, being outnumbered, dealing with armed assailants, and being caught off guard. After an exhaustive year of stripping away every complicated martial arts move, method, and strategy that didn't work in a real situation, I honed in on only a few simple self-defense methods that win and extinguish violent acts in a matter of seconds on the street or in a home. You see, there's the most common problem. Knowing the right self-defense response to take when you've never trained for that situation is almost impossible. And when you have only seconds to stop a surprise attack, how do you pick the right one without you or your loved ones getting hurt? You see, most martial arts trainers will teach you hundreds of complicated moves that take years of painful effort and dedication to master. And even then, most are fancy moves that are based on fantasy, not in reality. In fact, that's why it's not uncommon to find so-called martial arts masters who got the crap beaten out of them by a crack addict robbing them for a mere $5. You see, the truth is, self-defense courses are overloaded with complicated information that's filled with only a few effective moves. All the rest don't work for the average guy in real life, when you have only seconds to react. I know I'm stepping on a lot of toes here by saying all this, but I don't care. I'm only concerned with teaching people what really works in real life, nothing else. Yet, perhaps the worst mistake of all is believing you're tough enough to handle crunch time situations. You're not. Even black belt karate masters become frozen with fear when faced with armed carjackers. Martial artists are burglarized and robbed at knife point all the time. Simply believing that your desire to protect yourself and your loved ones is enough is a seriously foolish blunder that will get you killed. You need real-life skills, and you need to know exactly what to do when suddenly confronted by danger. None of this comes naturally to anyone. Even more important, you need to learn how to fortify your loved ones so that they will be safe when you aren't around. This means you must be taught only the simple moves that work. Fighting moves so natural that you respond instinctively in any situation without thinking. Learning some fancy self-defense martial art like karate won't help you. Just buying a gun won't help. Neither will putting bars on all your windows, hiding your children in a tower, or driving around town in an armored tank. Nope. The skills you need are much simpler and much more effective than all that, even though they're almost completely unknown in the civilian world. And, if you'll let me, I want very much to share these secret skills and techniques with you. And the best part is, you only need a handful of these highly effective moves. You won't believe your eyes when you see what you can do with these real-life fighting techniques. You can take everything you've ever learned in the martial arts and throw it out the window. You don't need to know 5 kicks, 6 blocks, and 10 punches. It makes everything else obsolete. This all-new, easy-to-learn approach gives you hyper-advanced, upper-level fighting skills. You've never seen self-defense techniques like these before in your life. In fact, it has sent shockwaves among the insiders of the fighting world, because this devastating, easy-to-learn, and all-new self-defense system is perfect for both professionals and for average guys. It covers the really nasty stuff that will jettison you overnight into the ranks of the most elite on the planet. But what's even more amazing, everything's been broken down to such simple basics, you can learn it all within an hour. You don't need to be strong or skilled in fighting or even have any fighting experience at all. These are the simplest fight-ending techniques you could ever learn. Every move is devastating beyond belief. This isn't injured to degree or slap-and-run self-defense. These are real fighting secrets you can actually watch and do to overwhelm multiple opponents who attack you in a dark back alley, in a Walmart car park, or inside your home. You see, what I discovered is something no other fighter on the planet has found out yet. The basic power-loaded physics of fighting against any assailant, no matter what their size, strength, or skill level. It taps into the same areas of vulnerability that all humans have on their bodies, and can even be traced to how the most insanely vicious animals in the wild fight and win. For instance, have you ever seen footage of a tiger taking down a buffalo? It's the equivalent of a 130-pound man dropping a pissed-off 380-pound sumo wrestler. That's why it doesn't matter how strong you are, or how big you are, or how skilled you are. That's the kind of power you're about to experience yourself. Fact is, traditional martial arts aren't vicious enough for modern-day self-defense. When you see what I have for you in this self-defense system, you'll understand that this is truly the next step in face-to-face combat. It's the first new approach to instantly win any fight, as it places you in direct contact with pressure points that can disable your attacker in a matter of seconds. These easy-to-reach, super deadly, and almost impossible to defend against areas are likely ones you've never even come across before. So forget long-winded street fighting, typical martial arts self-defense, or movie fights. This is a cut-the-crap, down-and-dirty fighting method designed to defeat your opponent in the easiest way possible, even under the worst conditions imaginable, and end the fight in seconds. Now, listen to this, as this is important. What makes this so easy to learn is that your body and mind is already hardwired with the powerful instinct to survive. It's true. That's how we've survived for so long on the planet. Deep below the surface, you already have that natural drive to fight and defend yourself. But make no mistake, you may think you know where these sensitive spots on the body are, but 97% of the experienced bodyguards who show up at my workshops to learn from me don't even think about defending them. But if you know how to reach them without thinking about a million moves, then you can win any fight against anyone, a small person or someone much heavier and stronger. It all becomes automatic. And that's great news for you, because it means you don't need special skills or any previous martial arts training. It means you don't need any extra agility or speed. And it means you don't need to practice these moves to get them. And here's another little thought. Once you know these spots, you can end a fight in 2 seconds or less with the very first blow, and even stop multiple attackers wielding knives or guns. But get this. After pinpointing the most effective moves and distilling it all down so that even the slowest learner wouldn't have to log 5 years in some stupid dojo practicing blocks and kicks, which may not be what you need when attacked in your home or in the street, I compiled an easy-to-apply, highly effective self-defense system that's been field-tested in homes, at government events, and on some of the meanest streets in the world against the most ruthless, cunning, and dangerous criminals. Using these special tactics, which are simple to master, you can go from an amateur to a feared and respected fighter in the shortest time possible without boring hours of practice, and quickly neutralize and damage multiple attackers that are twice your size without breaking a sweat. Listen, I have to admit, I was reluctant to teach these dangerous fighting secrets to civilians, and I did think twice about releasing this, as this is not plain nice stuff. It goes far beyond every other fighting system and self-defense course you've ever seen. Every single one, and makes them look like child's play. In fact, there are people out there who are outraged that I'm offering to teach ordinary people like you this super secret face-to-face combat. But the memory of seeing my wife covered in blood and the fear in my daughter's eyes is why I teach this. So putting together proven tactics that could be learned from home was a monumental task. But working with a group of expert bodyguards and government security who I'd already trained, I successfully developed a vicious, blood-tested self-defense and fighting system that works every time. And most important, after teaching a group of 121 students with zero background in martial arts, varying sizes and strength, 42 of them felt such an overwhelming swell of confidence in their fighting ability that they offered to be willing guinea pigs and field test it. So that's what we did. I pitted them against some of the most highly skilled, world-class street fighters who make their living from winning fights. While there were no rules and we restricted them from using the most life-threatening moves, the results were astonishing. Out of the 42 who volunteered, every single one of them won their fight in the first round without getting hurt. Needless to say, word about those fights got around fast, and countless promoters and fighters were outraged, because not only had my students won and publicly humiliated world-class fighters, but they debunked every idea that people have about how hard it is to fight and win. But it wasn't all bad news. My phone was ringing off the hook with countless people craving to know the secrets behind my ultra-elite fighting system and how they could use it to protect their loved ones. In fact, even agencies and companies whose bodyguards protect high-profile government officials and A-list actors came crawling back, begging me to train them when they had originally been skeptical and snubbed my service. And while the majority of my times these days is spent training special ops military, SWAT police, and bodyguard companies behind the scenes, I've always wanted to get this into the hands of every American family. Let's be straight right now. Every single father, mother, and child deserves to feel confident and know how to effectively defend themselves in sudden, unexpected, and murderous situations. And I don't want on my conscience the thought of what I could have done to help others avoid what my family went through many moons ago. But as a highly sought-after self-defense trainer teaching some of the busiest professionals in and around the nation's capital, needless to say, that's where my problem lies. Trouble is, with my training in such high demand, I cannot possibly teach workshops to everyone. It's virtually impossible, as my calendar right now is booked up 2 years in advance, and that's just with my current private clients. That's why I decided to follow the advice of a good friend of mine and place the entire lethal combat self-defense system that I usually charge my clients $500 an hour for online, so that I can reach ordinary folks like you all over the world. That's how the Patriot Self-Defense System came to be. But before I released it, I wanted to see how it fared with a group of ordinary families in my neighborhood, people who I knew had zero background in fighting or interest. I'm pleased to say the results were truly astonishing. Kevin, a retired Detroit factory worker, says, "I was mugged. I didn't think a criminal would attack me, as I'm over 6'4" and 350 pounds. But they ganged up on me in a parking garage, and with a pipe load to the head, I was out like a light. I'm never going to let that happen to me or anyone in my family ever again. I reviewed and used the Patriot system, and it works just like he says. I've taught my wife and kids how to protect themselves too. I don't want to have to worry about my wife being attacked or my kids being bullied at school either, because Detroit's a tough city to live in." Marcia, a late-night convenience store clerk, emailed me with this. "I thought my end of town was safe. I worked late at night at a convenience store that was only 5 blocks from the police station. I never thought I would ever be robbed. But it happened to me. One night, when a robber pulled a gun on me, I knew exactly what to do to disarm him and bring him to his knees. Then I whipped out my cell and called the police. When the cops arrived, they were totally surprised that a skinny little woman like me, I'm only 5 foot and 105 pounds, was able to knock this habitual criminal to the floor and keep him there until they arrived. I'm so glad I got the Patriot Self-Defense System and learned these methods. That's all I needed to subdue that criminal, and he never knew what hit him." And Roseanne is an elderly woman who was assaulted at a nursing home and told me this. "I was accosted one night in my bed. I didn't think a rapist would attack me at the nursing home, but he did. I used the brutal one-punch method and knocked him to the floor. He cried out at the pain, and that's what brought the orderly in. I'm so glad my younger son showed me how to do these simple moves. It saved me when I was attacked. And I also showed all my lady friends at the nursing home how to do them too." So, with that said, here's my bulletproof promise to you. If you have the ability to press a play button and watch a couple of videos, in less than 2 hours you can pick up and master these astonishing self-defense and fighting skills that will stay with you for life. And with just the barest amount of practice, you'll be able to leverage your new skills into truly nasty tactics you can pull out any time you need them to annihilate any opponent in seconds. So, what will you get with the Patriot Self-Defense System, besides peace of mind and fearless confidence? While I've researched, prepared, and put together the most important things you need to know in order to survive street and in-home attacks, truth is, you really only need to use a few movements to triple your chances of survival. I'm telling you, this is simple common sense. Fast, easy, and highly effective self-defense, and you can do it. There's nothing complicated about it. In fact, when I set out to create this, I wanted to make sure that every single technique was both proven for anyone, and I wanted to over-deliver and give you exclusive bonuses that would increase the odds of survival and give you massive value for your money. And I'm so convinced that this is going to save your life and your family's life that I've decided to go out on a limb and even provide a way for you to get your hands on the entire thing completely risk-free today and show you how you can get started with all the essentials even if you're on a tight budget right now. Keep listening. I'll show you how. But first, let me show you what you're going to receive. Immediately, you'll start by getting the How to Defeat Extreme Violence Manual. You see, in this incredibly unique self-defense package, you're getting your hands on the world's only proven definitive manual on how to be prepared to survive any act of extreme violence. In fact, over the past 22 years, I've led hundreds of bodyguards, special ops, and police through the tactful art of what you must do in order to survive both surprise attacks on the street and in the home, like thugs who distract you while another sneaks up and attacks you from behind, home invasions, knife-wielding lunatics, drunken, disorderly, out-of-control mobs, and skilled fighters looking for a brawl. Inside, I've included everything you need, all the essential mental strategies and action steps that you must know and take before it's too late in order to recognize a potential attacker. Be ready to survive a surprise attack while eliminating desperate and violent attempts on your life in seconds. In over 250 pages, I expose the dirty little secrets that many martial arts instructors will never tell you. In this tell-all manual, that's guaranteed to make sure you're in the 10% that will survive a violent attack, I literally take you and your family by the hand and give you a clear, simple, and highly effective roadmap to follow without getting hurt while you do it. Nothing is left out. This valuable solution is then backed up by over 40 exclusive and live video demonstrations. Let me tell you what you have here. It's absolutely breathtaking. Imagine being able to hire me to come into your home or office and teach you right there. Well, that's exactly what you're getting here with this unique series of video demonstrations. Just click play, turn up your speakers, and watch, copy, and do exactly what I say as I personally guide you over the tough spots with this step-by-step, insightful, and experienced instructions. Suddenly, you'll notice all the mystery and confusion surrounding how to kill your attackers right away, maim them for life, or just incapacitate them, melt away like snowflakes in the sun. Here's just a sampling of what you'll find in these 40 exclusive videos, totaling over 1.5 hours of personalized self-defense and fighting instruction. Incredible fighting moves you can master in less than a day, including little surprises that'll let you take down even drugged-up a-holes twice your size and weight instantly with your bare hands. The 7 clever and delightfully explosive surprises you can lay on an armed attacker, even multiple attackers, to put them all out of commission quickly and leave them weeping and seeping on the ground. This covers the power of counterintuitive techniques that dim-witted street thugs always fall for, literally, and along what not to do list, the common mistakes most people make, which get them hurt or killed. The secrets of using the human body's natural fulcrums to bring anyone to their knees in agony. The devastating techniques of joint manipulation that allows even a 75-year-old with arthritis and a weak grip to break arms with just a tiny torque of his wrist. Imagine the devastation you could wreak with this wrist flick knowledge alone. A proven way to expand your spidey sense so you can feel when violence may erupt and when an ordinary situation may go to hell in a handbasket before it does. Evolution has given you this psychic danger alert system. You simply need to awaken it, so you'll instantly know when people around you, no matter how friendly or helpful they may appear, intend to cause you serious harm, or are about to threaten your family or loved ones. It's a very good extrasensory perception to have for playing poker or horse trading, too. A laughably simple one-hand takedown that will bring any attacker of any size and weight to his knees. Well, you laugh about it. Thugs will not. They'll be too busy weeping in pain. The paleo die switch. You heard of the paleo diet? Eating the food that cavemen ate? Well, this is the dark side of your caveman heritage. A switch in your mind that can turn you from the gentle, peace-loving person you are into a Stone Age ball of fury, with berserker disdain for pain and unstoppable Hulk-like rage. Flipping your internal paleo die switch is often enough to stop an assault immediately, as even dim-witted thugs quickly realize that you're no longer a victim, but a very dangerous wild animal, bristling and growling in an almost non-human way. And if they're foolish enough to not recognize the danger, you can follow through and leave little scraps of bloody meat all over the area. Just pray you don't run across your local politician when you're in a state. A farewell to arms. The most agonizing arm lock that a human can experience. Simple to master, easy to use. Not only will you cause an attacker of any size blinding pain, you'll incapacitate the arm for hours, which will give you an opportunity to leave the scene safely, or to exact a painful and permanent revenge on this thug for daring to threaten you or yours. You get all of this plus so much more that will motivate, teach, coax, propel, and push you to succeed at becoming an expert fighter who can deliver devastating blows within seconds. Just imagine having the equivalent of months of powerful training with me crammed into over 40 videos. Think about it. Getting your hands on full-on training that will take you from rookie fighter to advanced expert in the shortest time humanly possible. It's practical, simple, and the highest level of violence you'll ever witness. Picture being taught how to bring on the full adrenaline dump of actual combat, so you learn everything in the same emotional and physical and chaotic state you'll experience in a real fight. There really is no other way to effectively train. Learn this from me, and you'll never again panic no matter what happens. Plus, just like a 1-2 punch, you'll also receive the Fighting System Manual that binds it all together. In this one-of-a-kind comprehensive manual, I pull back the curtain and break down everything you saw inside these videos, so you'll never again be left guessing what to do next. Literally, if you could have me sitting across from you in your home or office, showing and telling you exactly what to do, the exact locations of pressure points, nerve nodes, and vulnerable spots, and how to leverage them to exert pain and control, this would be the result. Simply put, there's no faster or easier way to instantly win a fight than by viewing these videos in the manual together. Plus, the confidence and safety you can now offer your loved ones and yourself is a gift that will enrich every part of your life from here on out. I know from experience that with even a bare minimum of effort, these amazing secrets can allow you to be the one family in 1,000 in this country that can truly sleep well at night and go anywhere with absolute confidence, knowing there is no way you'll ever be surprised or victimized by the sleazy criminals who want to attack, rob, carjack, or sexually assault you or your family. Look, what I have to share with you isn't pretty. If you're in denial about the reality of the violence and perverted nature of the criminals now taking over every neighborhood in your town, then please walk away. I've stopped arguing with men about the need to protect themselves and their families like men, as the full responsibility that is on their shoulders as a man is yours to bear. So, if you're still with me, congratulations. There aren't many men like you out there with the guts to admit they need help protecting their home and their loved ones. Sure, you may be a little anxious about it now, but allow me to demystify it all, including all the pressure points with the free strike zone map that I'm including. Yes, along with the studio quality videos and comprehensive manuals, you'll get a strike zone map that lays out every vulnerable spot on the human body. Let it sweep away any confusion as to which ones inflict the most damage in just a very short time. You'll be 100% confident about how to defeat every potential threat of violence before it comes within spitting distance of you or your family. Listen, you know in your heart that it's your duty as a man to protect your family and yourself. And you know in your head that crime is so out of control that murders and rapes and child abductions and torture don't even make the news anymore. They just get logged in the thick FBI books as another statistic. Yet not one man in 1,000 has the slightest idea how to even begin defending his home and family against unexpected terror. What can you do? If you plan to reinvent the wheel by figuring it all out yourself, on your own, I can tell you right now, you'll fail without this. Remember, criminals are better prepared than you are and have spent their entire lives learning how to use the dirty tricks to beat the average guy like you in a fight. They're good at it too, and even when they do jail time, which is rare, they spend their sentence learning new ways to get what they want. And what they want is what you have: your money, your happiness, your life. Don't let them steal it. Now you can have the advantage and know that you have a built-in self-protection shield more powerful than any gun or knife, and have done everything humanly possible to prepare and defeat any criminal who comes hunting for you or your family. So now, what would you expect to pay for all of this amazing life-saving training? Well, before you answer, consider this. None of this can help you unless you take action and unless you take the right path. Right now, you're standing at a split in the road, and I know it's not an easy decision to make, as I've been right where you are. One path will take you into the group who make the most common and deadly mistakes by thinking or saying, "That won't happen to us. I can protect my family. I know what to do when things get serious," or "Criminals can be reasoned with." Do you really want to take that chance? Do you really want to suffer from a home invasion, or find yourself running scared from violent mobs? Or placing your hope in a shaky police department that might show up too late, and only wishing you'd used common sense to take responsibility for your life and the life of your loved ones before it's too late? Or would you rather be in the smart group with those who are prepared for critical situations like the moment when that security system fails or they find a loophole, the moment when you can't reach that gun in time because it's locked up, that moment when somebody attacks you or your loved one on the street, that moment when the police show up 30 minutes too late? I think you're smart enough to know which group you should be in. And since the first step on your part is to take action, I want to make it as easy and painless as humanly possible. And I know the one way to do that is to create immense value. Well, let's do a fast comparison. Last time I checked, going through the years of research, preparation, and work that I've done, it would most definitely cost you upwards in the thousands to do the same, especially since there is no other complete self-defense package like this on the market. I've been told by others that it should be a lot more expensive than this, yet as this is urgent and life-saving information and I want to get it into as many American hands as possible, I've given a lot of thought to what I should charge. But before I get to that, here's where it gets better. To sweeten the pot even more, not only will you get the How to Defeat Extreme Violence 250-page manual, over 40 exclusive and live video demonstrations, the fighting system manual that binds it all together, the free Strike Zone map, but I'm also going to give you for free 4 more additional super bonuses. That's right. When you click the order button below, I will also give you access to the highly coveted manuals entitled Super Bonus: How to Survive When There's No Ring, No Ref, or No Rules, valued at $27, yours free today. Since I wrote the book and did the manuals and videos, I've developed 11 more devastating drop and flop techniques that let you quickly pavementize anyone who dares to threaten you with violence. Just a few more brutal, agonizing arrows for your smackdown quiver. And if I do say so myself, these new easy-to-learn ones, the Magnificent 11, are particularly vicious, cruel, and bloodthirsty. It seems the more I think about it, the more punishment, pain, and permanent damage I want to inflict on any arrogant, dull-witted muggers that dare to infringe on your peace of mind. I wonder if I should talk to somebody about that tendency. Nah, my therapy's inflicting absolute agony on anyone who presumes to threaten me. The second super bonus guide is Demystifying Violence, valued at $19, yours free. Violence is in all of us. There's an untamed beast within all of us. It's a part of human nature that no amount of culture has ever been able to eradicate. In most of us, though, it's deeply buried under many layers of social conditioning. This is why we are so traumatized by the thoughts of serial murderers or rampant violence in the streets. Why anyone could do such things is a total mystery to us. That's why threats of violence against us, personally, are so shocking and paralyze us. We simply cannot comprehend what is going on. This comprehensive Demystifying Violence report is not a psychological treatise. It's a method which allows you to go from zero to beast in fractions of a second. You're an animal at heart, a very dangerous one. You've just been domesticated, but that beast is always within you, snarling and growling and ready to rip and shred. And this report is like a trigger, which unleashes the beast bullet within you instantly and frighteningly. Your third super bonus guide is Turbulence Fitness, valued at $17, yours free when you order now. In this report, you'll discover the 7 basic secret exercises that make your unleashed beast able to carry out havoc and mayhem. Even though these exercises are easy to do and can be done anywhere by anyone, they actually install animal quickness and viciousness directly into your muscles and nerves, leaving it locked there until you need to pull the trigger and instantly let loose your beast bullet. Another plus, these new and simple exercises melt fat efficiently too. So if you've never experienced satisfactory results in your previous fitness efforts, it's my sincere belief that this document will put you on a better path towards new possibilities for you. Your fourth super bonus guide is Women's Self-Protection, valued at $19, yours free when you order now. Never before has a report been so in demand as this one is. Violence against women is at an all-time high, and there's never been a better time than now to learn specific strategies that can reduce, eliminate, and prevent attacks on women. I don't have to tell you that being ready to protect yourself and your family is vital for survival. And while I give you everything you need in the Patriot self-defense system, inside this comprehensive report, you'll learn as a woman how to fight back against domestic violence, rape, and be better prepared against those who are bigger, stronger, and have advantage over you. Within minutes, you'll know what few will ever know. You can't place a value on this type of information as it contains the best strategies that have been tested and proven by women. Now, it's clear that the cost of this entire package, including all the super bonuses, should be upwards in the thousands or more, considering this is priceless information you can't get anywhere else. But I'm not going to charge you anywhere near that amount. In fact, because I want to help another fellow American, your total investment for the entire Patriot self-defense system is just a one-time payment of $37 today. But I must warn you, this is a limited time price, and it'll be going up to $97 soon. That's right. For less than a good meal out, you can take the next 8 weeks and access the entire self-defense package, immediately see everything, and apply its time-tested, proven defense and fighting techniques without risk. Go ahead, click the order button below, and you'll be taken to our secure and easy order form and gain access to everything within minutes from now. Now, I know I've covered a lot in this presentation, and maybe you're still skeptical. I know I would be. Yet, here's where it gets even better. Listen, I'm so positive, so sure, so ridiculously confident that the Patriot self-defense system package will save your life your families, and make you worry-free, that I'm willing to let you try it risk-free before you decide if you want to keep it. Here's how it works. Try it for a full 60 days, and if at any point you decide I'm wrong or you haven't received 10 times the value you paid, I'll give you a prompt 100% refund. No questions asked. Now, I've done my part. I've put together a proven self-defense package of highly effective strategies, lethal techniques, and deadly methods that you can use immediately. Your time is now. Your opportunity to be prepared for any attack is now. What will you do with it? Will you ignore it and hope that criminals don't strike? Will you think about it and waste more time and money on expensive traditional martial arts or useless advice from unknown self-defense wannabes? Or will you take this moment and use it to stack the odds in your favor for that unexpected moment when danger shows up at your door? You know which choice makes sense, so act now and get everything you need to save your life and your family's before it's too late. Don't expect your neighbors, firearm, or local police to save you, because they won't. Ultimately, my mission here is to see as many hard-working Americans benefit from this material as I can. I want to give it only to people who have decided they will use it. I'm hoping that's you. So, if you want to get your hands on it, click the order button below now. Okay, I'm nearly done, but I want to make a last-ditch effort to warn you of the consequences of not taking action. Almost no one understands the criminal mindset, except other criminals. You can't even begin to imagine what goes on in a sociopath's brain. These are animals who enjoy hurting people, who get a sexual thrill from torture, who need to humiliate you in order to feel alive. The threat of jail holds no fear for them. They shoot when angry, rape when aroused, steal when they need money. You can't know what a thrill it is for a punk to watch you grovel for your life, begging, pleading, trying to reach some shred of humanness inside them. No matter watching Hollywood movies or reading bestseller detective novels will ever prepare you for the real thing. Being attacked by the scum of the criminal world is an experience that'll leave you dead inside, even if they spare your life. It's a mistake to think you can talk your way out of it. The only answer is to make sure it never happens. However, in this package, you'll discover how to protect yourself and your family from the unexpected dangers that lie ahead. You'll have every tactic, technique, strategy, and action plan to not just survive, but cause untold harm to your attacker. But you need to act now. Finally, it's time to make a decision. Think about it. Where will you be when that next criminal strikes? Will you panic? Will you be tied up on the floor and made to watch acts of violence? Will you be the one burying your child, sibling, or spouse? Or will you be confident, self-assured, secure, and without worry, safe in the knowledge that you weren't foolish? You took the steps to make sure you and your family would be protected and alive. Listen, I've gone through the pain. Now, you don't have to. You can get the authentic advice on how to be prepared and survive any act of violence, in-home or on the streets, within minutes from now. Don't pass up a life-saving opportunity. You have absolutely nothing to lose and everything to gain if you act now, because you're backed up by a 60 days full money-back guarantee. So go ahead, click the order button now, and take advantage of what ultimately can save you and your family.